Belly fat is not stubborn fat. It is stress fat. And if you do not understand why it appears, you will never remove it. Most people diet, they do cardio, they lose weight, and the belly stays. Today I will explain why this happens, what actually creates belly fat, and why most advice makes it worse. This video is separated in 3 parts where I discuss the origin, the myths, and how to lose belly fat at the end. So, stay. Now let's start. Belly fat is not normal body fat. Your body stores fat in different places for different reasons. Arms, legs, hips, also known as love handles, and the abdomen. Belly fat, especially visceral fat, is hormonally active. It has more receptors for stress hormones, especially cortisol. Cortisol is released when your body feels under threat. This can happen because how some things like lack of sleep, psychological stress, calorie restriction, overtraining, poor recovery. This is not emotional stress only. Your body does not know the difference. Human studies show visceral fat responds stronger to cortisol than other fat depots. This means when cortisol stays high, fat storage shifts toward the abdomen. This is the first key point. Belly fat is a signal problem, not a discipline problem. Now think about modern life. Modern life often has things daily like short sleep, constant stimulation, screens at night, caffeine late in the day, very hard training, bad diet, and more that increase stress. Most people trying to lose belly fat are already stressed, making them add more stress like more cardio, less food, less sleep. And stress goes even higher. This is why belly fat appears and stays. Sleep is a massive driver. Sleep loss raises cortisol, reduces insulin sensitivity, and lowers testosterone. All 3 push fat storage toward the belly. This matters because you can eat the same calories, train the same, sleep less, and store more belly fat. Testosterone also plays a role. Testosterone improves insulin sensitivity, it limits fat storage, it helps muscle act as a glucose sink. Low testosterone shifts fat storage toward the abdomen. Poor sleep, chronic stress, excessive dieting, all reduce testosterone. Now insulin. Insulin is not bad, it is necessary, but chronic high insulin favors fat storage. Belly fat is highly sensitive to insulin. When insulin sensitivity drops, insulin rises. Fat storage increases, especially in the abdominal area. Things that reduce insulin sensitivity are sleep deprivation, stress, ultra-processed food, alcohol. This creates a loop. Stress raises cortisol, cortisol raises blood glucose, insulin spikes, fat goes to the belly. Alcohol deserves its own mention. Alcohol increases cortisol, disrupts sleep, reduces fat oxidation, and worsens insulin sensitivity. Late-night drinking plus short sleep is a perfect setup for belly fat. Now training. Training is good, but training without recovery is stress. High volume, high intensity, no deloads, poor sleep. These things elevates cortisol chronically. People often say, I train hard, but my belly never goes away. This is not coincidence. Overtraining plus under-recovery equals hormonal imbalance. Cardio does not target belly fat. Spot reduction does not exist. Fat loss is systemic. Fat storage is regional. The region is selected by hormones. Belly fat is the first to appear under stress, and the last to leave when hormones stay unfavorable. This is why lean people under stress still carry belly fat. This is the origin. Belly fat is your body adapting to stress. It's trying to survive, not trying to look good. Part 2. The biggest belly fat myths keeping you stuck before we talk about how to lose belly fat. We need to kill the myths because most people believe myth 1. Belly fat is only about calories. This is the most common belief. People think, if I eat less than I burn, fat will leave evenly, but human studies show fat distribution is not even. Where fat is stored depends on hormones. A controlled human study published in 2022 compared people sleeping 4 hours per night versus 9 hours. Both groups had similar activity levels. The short sleep group gained more total fat and more abdominal fat. Especially visceral fat, this happened even without massive overeating. Same calories, same movement, different sleep, different belly fat. So no, calories alone do not decide where fat goes. Myth 2. Cardio targets belly fat. People see belly fat. They add cardio, sometimes weight drops, but belly stays. But why belly stays? Because cardio is also a stressor, especially when combined with poor sleep and low calories. Stress raises cortisol, and studies in humans show people with higher cortisol responses tend to store more fat in the abdominal area. A Yale study showed that women with higher stress and cortisol responses had more central belly fat, even when they were not overweight. Cardio does not choose where fat leaves, hormones do, used right. Cardio helps, used wrong. It reinforces the problem. Myth 3. Abs workouts burn belly fat. This one refuses to die, crunches, planks, leg raises, you feel the burn. This has been tested in controlled trials, training. A muscle does not reduce fat on top of it. Abs workouts build muscle. They do not pull fat from the abdomen. Belly fat loss is systemic. Belly fat storage is hormonal. Myth 4. Fasting always helps belly fat. Fasting is not magic. For some people, it improves insulin sensitivity. For others, it increases stress. Sleep-deprived fasting plus hard training is a cortisol bomb. Studies show sleep restriction alone already reduces insulin sensitivity. Combine that with fasting and cortisol goes higher. If fasting makes you sleep worse, feel wired, or increases binge behavior, it works against belly fat. Myth 5. Alcohol does not matter if calories are controlled. This one hurts. Alcohol disrupts sleep architecture. Even one drink reduces REM sleep. Poor sleep raises cortisol and worsens insulin sensitivity. Human studies show alcohol intake increases cortisol secretion. You can fit alcohol into calories and still block belly fat loss hormonally. Myth 6. Genetics decide everything. Genetics influence fat distribution, but they do not lock it forever. Large population studies show lifestyle factors like sleep duration and stress levels strongly associate with visceral fat levels. Even after controlling for genetics, genes set tendencies, behavior sets, outcomes. Myth 7. If you are lean everywhere else. Belly fat means you need more restriction. This is one of the most damaging beliefs. Lean arms, lean legs, but belly stays. This often signals high stress hormones, not lack of discipline. More restriction pushes cortisol higher, and cortisol favors abdominal fat storage. This is why people get stuck for years chasing the last bit of belly fat. Now I'm going to tell you a little secret to losing belly fat, but you need to subscribe part 3. How to actually lose belly fat before we start with steps. Remember this. Belly fat you see on the mirror is mostly visceral fat around organs. Science shows it's linked to sleep, stress, activity, and diet. If this part helps you, like, subscribe, and comment what change you're going to implement first. Let's get into it. Step 1. Improve sleep quality and duration. Sleep is not optional if you want belly fat gone. Human data shows that people who sleep less tend to have more visceral fat when measured by body scans, even after adjusting for calories, age, and diet. This means sleeping more helps reduce belly fat, and sleeping too little makes it easier to accumulate it. I will do a sleep maxing video later on, so subscribe for that. Step 2. Exercise strategically. Exercise matters, but the type and consistency determine what fat you lose. Multiple clinical studies show that exercise reduces visceral fat, even without major weight loss. Moderate aerobic exercise like brisk walking, cycling, jogging reduces abdominal visceral fat over time. A systematic review found that moderate or high-intensity aerobic programs reduced visceral adipose tissue area significantly in both women and men after 12 weeks. Resistance and walking also matter. Walking daily was shown to reduce visceral fat and improve insulin resistance in obese men. Combined exercise programs, aerobic plus resistance, improve sleep quality and help reduce visceral fat in adults with metabolic conditions. Important, don't train so hard that you wreck sleep or increase stress hormones excessively. A consistent plan with strength training, brisk walking, and moderate aerobic 3 to 5 days a week works best. Step 3. Diet quality over quantity. Evidence shows that calorie restriction alone usually reduces fat overall, but combining diet with exercise shows consistent visceral fat loss. This means food quality matters, maintaining a sustainable deficit helps, extreme dieting increases stress hormones and slows progress. You should focus on lean proteins, whole grains, veggies, and fiber, low added sugars. This optimizes insulin and reduces metabolic stress. Step 4. Manage stress. Research identifies stress-induced cortisol as a factor that favors abdominal fat accumulation. Stress is not only emotional, it includes sleep deprivation, overtraining, constant mental tension strategies that help body stress systems, breathing exercises, walking breaks, hobbies, and time off screens. These help lower stress hormone load and support belly fat loss. Step 5. Consistency wins. Visceral fat does not disappear overnight. Science shows changes happen when lifestyle changes are sustained over weeks and months, not in a single workout or diet day. For example, 8 to 12 weeks of training can reduce visceral fat area. Combined lifestyle changes impact fat distribution. Progress comes from habits, sleep, movement, nutrition, stress control. Remember to subscribe and like the video. Muscle Science out.